Hey, it's Tony Fonte. How you doing? Today's message, today's video, I'm going to be talking about the yin and yang and how to balance the yin and yang within, and how this just came to me not too long ago recently on what the yin and yang really is and what that represents within us, and how to, and there's multiple parts to this. It's not just one way and one thing, there's multiple parts to this, and how as we create this balance within ourselves, this yin and yang within, we create more alignment and we move forward with so much rapid expansion towards what we want to create, towards what we desire in our life, in our relationships. And how that we have to do this within first in order to create that and see that in our reality. And I'm gonna dive right into it when we get right back, so don't go nowhere. Hey, welcome back. I help you reignite the 4 Ps. The 4 Ps, your passion, your power, your purpose, and your playfulness to create a deeper connection in your life and your relationships. Boom. My primary focus is on helping men reignite the 4 Ps. However, ladies, I don't leave you out because I work with you and I work with a lot of women who are doing the fucking work. And a lot of them do greater than the men are. There's more of the women than there are the men. But anyway, it's all changing and shifting. All right, here we go. Let's dive into the message of balancing the yin and yang, what the yin and yang is, and maybe you already know the yin and yang. But it clicked more for me recently, and I've been doing this work for a long ass fucking time. And there's actually, my daughter asked me a question, what is the yin and yang? And I was like, I don't know really what it boils down to. So I just started kind of feeling and asking that question, and going in and doing some kind of research, but ultimately trusting my intuition, because that's what I fucking do, because I have the inner knowing. And it came to me, and this message was born from that. The yin and yang. So the yin and yang, we have, the yin and the yang. The yin, I could be backwards on this, but so if I am, just switch it. The yin is the feminine, the divine feminine. The yang is the divine masculine that we each have within us. It also represents the light and our shadow. So there's 2 parts, because we have the divine masculine and feminine, which is the light, and we have the shadow masculine, the wounded masculine, and the wounded feminine and the shadow masculine. So there's both of that, and they represent both of that, and there are actually 2 parts to one thing. It's the shadow and the light. The divine masculine, the wounded masculine. The divine feminine, the wounded masculine. Feminine. It's all of that. And we have to learn to accept all of that. Most of us want to reject the shadow or reject the ego, which that's what the shadow is, and just want the light. I just want the light. I want the light. But without the fucking darkness, we don't have the light. Or I want to reject the feminine and try to be in my masculine. Well, that fucking burn you out really quick. Or vice versa. I'm going to get in the feminine and reject the masculine. Because all the wounding and all the hurt that you've done or been done, and all these things that we pull up, even from generations, it's passed on. You're here to break all that, but we have to embrace all of that. We have to accept all of that. But in order to really have this balance in our life, to have this balance in our relationships, where we really truly embrace the healthiness of our relationship, and really embrace and create the relationship and how it's intended, as a way to help us understand more of who we are individuals, and also create this growth together and expansion together in the relationship. But it's first understanding your own individuality in that. Most of us have some form of individualness. Our identity is in something else, in someone else, in our partner. And we've been living that out for fucking years. This is the majority of who I work with. Why? Because that's what I did. I had my identity outside of me. I had my identity in my partner. I had my identity all the way back childhood. My worth, feeling good enough, feeling deserving enough, came back from trying to prove to my mom and dad, mainly my dad. And you'll hear that a lot. Because of that dynamic that I had growing up, and that what he had growing up. Even my mom had a freaking crazy childhood, and that was warped in there too. So there was no balance in this feminine masculine energy. And men already have an imbalance because we're taught not to feel. We're taught to not have emotion, that it's weak, not to show vulnerability because it's weak, or she'll freaking reject us or use it against us, which is our own belief. And you got to be stoic and show up strong and just suck it up and all this other shit. And we're not like, oh, women are emotional, men are logical, and that's all bullshit. We have emotion, we show emotion, and some, usually it's like anger and bullshit, but which is a secondary emotion to some fear. But you can't show fear at all. You can't cry. And that has fucked men up. Created the wounded masculine. Having this belief from generation, I mean, it goes back to the witch trials and all the other shit. Not saying that the feminine back then didn't use the power for not so great things. But then the masculine's like, nope, try to contain that. Try to control the feminine flow, which the feminine cannot be controlled. It's that fucking powerful, and it's flow. But we've done years of breaking women down, breaking the feminine down, shutting the feminine down within. But now the women, that power starting to break out and come back, and they're demanding the fucking men to show up. I know there's women watching this going, yes, amen, preach it, Tony, preach it. I've seen this with the feminine in my own life, the women in my own life. They're healing. They're starting to heal. And the men have a choice to fucking show up. They're not going to accept the weakness of the man. And if that's triggering you, men, think, I'm not fucking weak. If you're not feeling, you're not doing the work, inner work, you're not showing up, you're fucking weak. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not judging. I'm not saying it like that in a horrible way. And it's not to say that as we do this work and we heal that we're going to get rid of all that insecurities and all the other shit. No, it doesn't go away. We just become more aware of it and grow more with it and learn to adapt. And each level we move to, we go. But I can tell you this, if you're trying to control your woman, if you're having a hard time and you're sabotaging, you're trying to demean her or degrade her in some form or fashion, or you're trying to manipulate and gaslight in some form or fashion to try to get her to tell you that, that she loves you or you're good enough or all these other things, you're weak. It's because you're struggling with all this shit in your side and you're trying to do it on your own. Women struggle with this too. They have a wounded masculine. And the idea is to first create this balance within. And it's going to constantly be this dance of moving through the balancing to keep it there. You're not always going to be balanced. Sometimes you're going to have to go into the feminine more. Sometimes you're going to have to go into the masculine more. I mean, and you're going to have, the idea is to get more to balance and be more there by doing the work. But being more aware and being gentle on yourself and easy on yourself and doing the work and showing up and expressing your insecurities and expressing your fears, expressing your doubts, to bring back all that power, to create that balance within you, to create the balance in the feminine and the masculine within you, women and men. Both. So that you can show up in your life more powerfully. So you can show up in your relationships more powerfully. So you can be in your more dominant energy more. But since you have that balance within, you're going to be able to lead yourself and also co-lead in the relationship. You're going to have your dominant relation, your energy, and you know that. You're going to know that and learn that, what your dominant energy is. Where do you feel most lit up? Where do you feel the most free? The more peace. Is it in your feminine? Most of the women, it's going to be their feminine. Maybe some men are too, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Men, probably more in your masculine, but you haven't really been standing in your masculine. You've been blocked off. You're not listening to yourself. It's most likely you're not listening to your partner. Just being there. Just providing physically is not a fucking enough. She doesn't feel safe. Your feminine doesn't feel safe with you because you're not listening. You're not showing up for her. You're not showing up for yourself. We got to do the work. Got to go within. Got to accept the shadow. Accept the ego. Accept the lightness of who we truly are. Understanding who we truly are. Embracing who we truly are. Embracing the feminine and the masculine within each of us. So that we can do that in our relationships. Move into our power once we understand our identity and who we are, who we truly are. I can tell you this, when I'm actually leading in my masculine, when I'm actually showing up in my masculine more, it fucking lights me up. When I'm making decisions for my partner. Not that she can't make decisions. Let me get this context that she doesn't make decisions for herself. But it's like, hey, here's where I'm going. Come with me. Instead of just like, oh, what do you think? And know these things. And there's sometimes that she wants you to make the fucking decision, especially with going to eat. Sometimes she wants choices and let her decide. But other times she just doesn't. She's not feeling it. Fucking decide. Make a decision. Your feminine within wants you to make a decision. She's giving you all the ideas, all the suggestions, all the creations. Make the decision. Take aligned action, imperfect aligned action towards that. Make the decision. Feel through the fears and make the decision anyway. What if I fuck it up? What if it's wrong? What if it doesn't work out? But what if it does? And if it doesn't work out, guess what? It's just telling you it didn't work and allows you to readjust and pivot and then do it again and keep doing it. You can't fuck it up. Create the balance within. And that creates balance in your relationships. That creates more balance in your life. When you understand and embrace your identity, understand and embrace your more dominant energy, and create balance with both energies, but remain mainly in your dominant energy. And understand that you're not always going to, because you're going to have shit to go through, and your partner, she's going to have to step up into her masculine to hold that space for you while you go through that. And you're going to trigger the shit out of each other. And that's designed beautifully to help you fucking work through shit. But communicate. One of my biggest downfalls has been communication. Communicating what I feel. Communicating what I need. Because I didn't want to appear weak. I didn't want to be rejected. And having to heal that part of that to create more balance. And this is a constant journey. It gets easier as you move forward, because as you just like working out. You first start out as fuck, you're weak as fuck. You're sore as hell. But the more you do it, the stronger you become and the easier it becomes. Each level you move to, each journey part you go to, you're gonna feel this again, and you're just gonna move through it faster. And once you become so aware of the yin and yang and creating this balance within yourself and accepting and embracing all of you, bringing your power back, understanding and opening back up to your true identity and really showing up in that identity and feeling the fears and facing the fears and doing it anyway. You're doing it more and more and more. Having a conversation, hard conversation with your partner. Understanding your values, all of it. It's fucking magical. And it's fucking beautiful. All right. If you would like help, guidance, support on learning how to heal, to balance your yin and yang, your masculine and feminine, your shadow and light, there are many ways that we can work together, whether it's my free conscious connection challenge, which the next one starts 9/11. I have the link to the wait list below, and you can learn more about that and see if it works for you to join that. It's free, but it's powerful, and you got to do the work. Maybe it's my Reignite program or mastermind, which launches 9/1. I'll have the link to that as well so you can learn more to see if that fits with you. Whether it's a free workshop, whether it's any of my other free content here, whether it's one of my meditations or a guided intuitive energy healing meditation or session, I'll have the links below. You see and feel what resonates with you. And I look forward to working with you and moving and going on this journey with you, however that looks for you. I'll see you on the next episode of the Laughing Through Life Show. Peace.